And happy Thursday, just before
Yeah.
New Year's Eve. This is
Yes.
Investor Guys podcast. I'm Kevin Mills, and this good looking guy next to me is my cohort in the Investor Guys podcast and the other guy in Investor Guys podcast, Bill Barnett. How you doing, Bill?
I am doing incredibly well this morning. Good to see you, sir. Happy Thursday. Tomorrow for
Thursday, getting wound up for New Year's.
Yeah.
And kind of what we were going to talk about today. It's a continuation of our show on Tuesday.
Yep.
When we get to this time of the year, everybody's talking about resolutions, whether you're actually doing your own resolutions or not. We're talking about resolutions, and resolutions are essentially goals that you set for yourself. We talked about how to set those goals and how to put together a format and an outline for that in Tuesday's show. If you haven't seen it, go back and watch it at investorguyspodcast.com. Today, we want to talk about motivations. Motivations to set these goals, motivations to see these goals through to completion. And honestly, I don't know if there is a completion ever in a lot of these things. I used an example of, we want to go to Aruba for vacation. Yeah, that's something we could complete. Although once we go to Aruba, we might want to try another resort, so we'll have to go back. Bill used the example of losing weight. So once we lose that weight, we might be there. But in general, like a situation like Bill and I, we set a goal at one point in our lives to be real estate investors. And we met that goal and we continued through. We set new goals and we set new goals and we set new goals. And that's really how your goal setting process and how life should be is once you've achieved that benchmark, once you've achieved that mile marker, look further down the distance, look further. What else is it you want to do? How else is it you want to grow? What else is it that you want to achieve? So maybe you reach that optimum weight. Now maybe you need to work on that optimum physical physique. So you're going to spend more time at the gym, more time at the weight room, more time doing whatever it is you want to do to get to that physical physique. So always be looking on to that next step. And that's where motivation comes in. And we have different kinds of motivations. And that's what we want to talk about today. And I want to talk about something that is a big motivator for me and will be for a lot of people as they get older. And I know this is true about Bill as well. And I know a lot of you out there, the same thing. This last year, we've lost family members. We've lost family friends. We've lost childhood friends. We've lost longtime friends. And to me, whenever that happens, which seems to be more and more, unfortunately, lately, in my head, it reminds me, how much more do I need to accomplish? How much more do I want to accomplish? What do I want to leave behind for my legacy? That is a motivation for me. Once I'm gone, how are people going to remember me? How is my family going to remember me? Is my family going to be comfortable? And these are things that are motivations for me. It goes on and on and on. It's not just with my financial situation, it's with my health. How much longer can I live if I get healthier? How much longer can I live if I get to the right weight? How much longer can I live if I eat right? And what's the quality of my life going to be if I'm able to continue to live a long life? Am I going to be healthy? Am I going to be happy? Am I going to be mentally sharp? I doubt that because I'm already in mental decline. But all of these are motivations for me, and they're all just like these different pinpricks that remind me that we're mortal and we have a short time on this earth. But the more we can accomplish, the more we leave behind for those who come after us. Bill,
Yep.
I know, like I said, I know you're in the same situation. Tell me if this is a motivator for you, or if it just doesn't even a blip on the radar.
Well, absolutely it is. And on Tuesday's show, when we went through that, one of the processes, and that process actually has a name, the one that I went through, it's called the 1 hour destiny, how to build a map for your destiny in 3 20-minute blocks at a time. So go back and listen to that if you weren't with us on Tuesday. It'll give you some great insights. Now, one of the things that we talked about there was how to get down to what the 10 most important things were for you going forward. And out of everything that you could be, do, or have, boiling it down to these are the 10 most important. There may be more in one category than the other, but here is the top 10. So I was going over this some years ago with Mark Victor Hansen, and Mark was going, man, this is terrific. And, how'd you do this? And I just, it came up through life. Zig taught me the be, do, and have thing, the building the game plan to do that. How you achieve that came up with really taking what I'd learned in business and applying that to those. So Mark and I were going through all this, and he was very complimentary of it. He said, would you like to take this one step higher? And I said, absolutely. He said, okay, what you've done here is fabulous, and everybody should be doing this. All of us have one single thing. And once we find it, it changes our life forever. We have one thing that is the single most important thing for us, not for 2022, not for the next 5 years, but for the remainder of our life. This is the single most important thing for us, what we stand for, what is the single most important thing. And when we discover that, it becomes our North Star. So everything that we can do rolls back to, am I on track here? It's an unattainable goal in this life. And that's what makes it incredible. I've had some classes where I've shared mine. And it's one of those things that you can live to be 100, 120. You can be 120 and in perfect health and perfect mental cognizance, and you still can't achieve this goal because it's unachievable on this earth. And it sets, though, the important thing is it sets the North Star. It sets the tone for everything else that we do. And when you find that, as I said, it changes your life forever. When you find that, the other thing that happens is when I'm going through building all of these others, everything I want to be, do, and have, they all have a positive impact toward that. And you become a person, as Robert Allen taught me, he said, Bill, go back and look at everything and make sure you're living in congruency, that everything that you do and you're involved with is congruent with who you want to become as a person. And when you ever step out of that, you'll know it. And it's one of the great lessons that I learned from Bob in all the years that I've known him and still learn from him. But one of the great, I learned from him significant. I hadn't learned real estate from the guy in 20 years probably. But in fact, I wrote a lot of the things that were taught under Bob's name. But I learned a tremendous amount about building a successful life and building a successful business from him.
Yes. And never, ever, ever sell your soul to get a deal done, to get ahead. Be true to yourself, because that's something you will never, ever get back. We're on a break, so we'll be back in just. We're back, and today we're talking about motivations. Motivations are going to be what gets us not only started with these goals, because a lot of people write down goals and they never do anything with them. I mean, I know people who literally have spiral notebooks. I've never spiral notebook, but it's not of goals, but it's because my wife's been sharing the desk. Spiral notebooks full of goals that, and you're gonna like this actually. I saw this too here. Spiral notebooks. This is a book that my wife is reading right now. Okay, you goal girl. Goals only do you any good if you follow through on them. You have to start them, you have to initiate them, you have to execute them. They will only take up space in your life and in your head if you don't follow through with them. So motivations are going to be what gets you started and what's going to keep you true to that goal to completion and help you start with that next goal, with the exception of our North Star goal, which is just always, always, always something we strive to be. Something that will make us better. And I like to say that my wife makes us better, my children makes me better. And all those things should. Everything in your life should make you better. I had a conversation with, it was just a passing conversation the other day with a student. And I was explaining that your life is like a gemstone. Consider yourself a diamond. And my grandfather was a gemologist. He loved stones. He would go out and hunt for stones. He would buy stones. He would cut stones. What gives a diamond the brilliance is the facets that are on the diamond. If you look at a diamond straight out of the mine, it looks like a piece of glass. It looks like a dirty, rugged piece of glass. They break that up into little pieces, and then they set it on a disc that has got diamond dust on it also. It's called a dop. And they polish each one of those little flat spaces on the diamond in order to give it brilliance. Consider your experiences in life a dop that polishes your diamond. Each one of those facets is from a different experience in your life. If you just lean against that dop and you never change the setting on that dop, you're just going to have one flat spot and you're going to be a boring stone. The more facets you have in your life, from your life experiences and from what you've accomplished, and we accomplish things by doing things, not by just letting them happen. We have to do things in order to accomplish it. The more facets we have, the more brilliant our life is, the more brilliant we will shine for ourselves and for others. And I use that analogy a lot. And I literally used it yesterday on a phone conversation with just a passing phone conversation where a student called to say happy holidays. But it is very true. And it's a good analogy for our lives. And consider each experience that we have in our life as one of those facets that we're going to have. Remember, people used to always ask, what's the meaning of life? What's the meaning of life? And I don't know if Facebook got rid of that or something, but I don't really hear that very much anymore. I had the answer to the meaning of life, and I was going to write a book on it, and I never did. The answer to the meaning of life is to learn lessons. We are all here to learn lessons. Lessons that we learn here, we take with us and we leave behind. If we can share that experience with others, and no matter what you believe, whether you believe you go to heaven and your experiences are crowns in your, or diamonds in your crown, jewels in your crown, whether you believe you come back, reincarnation, they're lessons you don't have to learn again. Whether you learn you die and that's it, and there's nothing else. Okay. Everything that we've learned and we've accomplished, we leave to those who we love when we pass on. So our meaning of life is to learn lessons. And unfortunately, many of our lessons come hard, but those lessons that come hard, they create a facet as well. And they also temper us. They let us know that we can get through this. And next time we run into this, we're able to accomplish it, no problem. And when somebody else is going through this, we have the advice and we have the support and we have the shoulder to cry on to help them get through it as well. Bill.
Yeah, absolutely. And, figuring all of that out. And as you were saying that, it hit me. I know we've been in this mode, but it hit me that, oh my gosh, today is our last show of the year.
It is.
And are we on break right now?
No, we got a few more minutes.
Okay.
Today's the last day of the last show of the year.
Last show of the year. So one, I want to take this opportunity to say thank you for a full year here, being able to do this. March or April, we come up on our second year anniversary, and we're at 155, 158, something like that. 59. Wow. Yeah, episodes. And I certainly hope we get to do 159 more and more and more. But I just want to say thank you for an incredible year, and enjoyed doing this with you. Look forward to Tuesday being the first show of 2022. Can't believe that's here already. And if everybody that's listening will simply take the time to start figuring out what is it that's going to be important, so that when we're doing this show at the end of 22, people are looking back and going, this was an amazing year. I have this full belief that for our country, 2022 is going to be an absolute amazing year. I know for you and I personally, with all the things that we have going on and are planning to do together and things that we're doing on our own, it's going to be an incredibly amazing year. And I think it may be the single most amazing year I've ever had. And looking back over life, that's a statement. So excited about it. And again, thanks for being partners through this.
Thank you. And you put a pin in it directly, because we wish you a happy new year. And then we say, I hope this year's better than the last. And that's not to imply that last year was bad, but that we're doing better this year. And the only way we're going to make that happen is by actively making it happen. And Bill can say all those things and know that all those things are going to be true because Bill's already made those plans. He's already put those goals together. He has already decided what is in store for him for 2022. We are the captain of our own ship. We're the master of our own destiny. And that is done by creating goals, building that blueprint that we talk about all the time, building that roadmap that we talk about all the time. There's not just one treasure. There's multiple treasures out there. It could be, building a better relationship with your spouse. It could be building a better relationship with your boss if you're still working in a career. It could be building a better relationship and spending more time with your children. Whatever it is a treasure. And all you have to do is map it out, figure out where it's going to intersect with your life and how it's going to work in your life and benefit from it, because we don't set goals not to be beneficial. So every goal that we set because it means something to us and it means something in our lives. Now we are up on a break, so we'll see you in just a minute. And we are back. This is the final segment on our final show of 2021. This is kind of significant. Show number 150.
Yeah.
We've gone through a lot this year. Not bad, but we've covered a lot of different things. We've had a great time. Both of us have grown personally and together. That is what life is about, and embracing that is what life is about. And again, setting those goals and finding motivation for those goals is what's going to get you to the end. Let's talk more about motivation on this last segment. Yep. One of the primary motivations for people, you and I included, in real estate is the financial reward. Mm-hmm. And financial reward goes hand in hand with our financial security. And you'd be surprised what financial security means. It doesn't mean being able to go out go out and buy a yacht or buy a supercar or anything else. A lot of times it means not worrying that the electric bill is going to get paid, not worrying that your rent or your mortgage isn't going to get paid, not worrying about whether you have enough money in your bank account to buy decent food for your family. Financial security, that is the best part of financial security, is knowing that your basic needs are taken care of, that your family's needs are taken care of. Now, if you've got all that to take care of your basic needs and then you've got enough gravy to go out and buy a Learjet, that's awesome. And this is the investment that will get you there. All you have to do is just see your way through it, set those goals. But financial security, to me, is one of the key reasons why I do this. I don't want to have to figure out where that next paycheck is coming from. I don't want to have to figure out where the money's going to come from to pay whatever bill it is that needs to get paid. Having that money in the bank and having that money come in every single month that I know I can count on like clockwork is a very, very significant factor. And that was my motivator for doing real estate. The other motivator for me, and I think for Bill as well, is we like to do it. It is a passion. It is something that fulfills us and makes us happy. It's something that is in our blood and something we need to do, something that makes the gears in our head and our body work. If we couldn't do this, and I'm actually lamenting not being able to do as much real estate right now, because real estate where we are has blown up. Literally overnight, it went $200,000, $300,000 and up per properties that we were buying. So that slowed me down. And to me, I'm like, because I want to be out there buying the number of properties that I was buying a year ago. And I can't do that now. I'm switching gears. I'm buying land instead, and for myself and for another company. So I'm getting a little bit of that satisfaction back, but I'm not getting the types of units that I wanted before here in Florida, because the market has changed. But I can adapt and I can go other places. But I can tell how much this means to me and how much this is a part of me, because it is affecting me. It actually makes me grouchy sometimes that I'm looking at the MLS and I'm seeing properties that were similar just a year ago for $200,000 less.
Yep. And so here's the thing that and you and I have gotten a little more mature in life, me more so than you. But one of those things that happens when you get to have a little more time on the planet is you start to figure out it's not money for money's sake. It's money for what money provides. It's money for what money does. It's money so that I can make sure that my family's well taken care of. It's money so that I can be able to contribute to the charities that I want to contribute to. It's money that I know I can support my church. It's money that if I have an opportunity to do a kindness to somebody and be able to do it anonymously, that I can do. And when we grow our business, one of those things that happens is we impact other people's lives. So obviously we impact the people that end up living in our home, whether it's rental property or it's a property that we flip. Either way, we impact those people's lives by providing them property. We impact all of the contractors that have worked on a property. Again, it doesn't matter whether it's rental or whether it's a flip. Now, we're likely to be doing some work on it. We will certainly be on an ongoing basis on rental, and on a flip, we'll do it all at one time. But we impact all of those contractors, and in most cases, those are all independently owned businesses. And so we're impacting their families. And I really prefer doing business. I don't like, personally, doing business with like Ben Franklin Plumbing. Is it a great company? Yeah, they provide great service. Sure. I like doing business with locally owned and operated businesses. I want those independent entrepreneurial businesses just like mine. I want those businesses to survive and grow and thrive in this coming year. I don't want them to be crushed by the government. I don't want them to be hurt by another lockdown and all of the craziness that goes on. How do we help with that? We support them. So I love buying locally. I like knowing that when I go in and support a business, it's going to impact somebody's family. It's going to help them. And it may only be, a small piece that's going on there, but I like it to be that local business. But I want you to think about all the people that you impact every time you do a transaction. Of course, you got a real estate agent involved in most cases on one side or the other, if not both sides. You're going to have a title company. You may or may not have a lender involved. There's just so many types of businesses that we impact with every single property that we do. And every business that we impact impacts people. And every property that we make available on the market, rent or sale, impacts a family somewhere down the road. And if you keep that in mind, you start to understand more of the emotional side of the business. And business is done on the emotional side. It is reaffirmed on the logical side, but the bulk of decisions that are made in business are made emotionally. And then the people look at, can I back this up logically going forward? So we get an opportunity to touch a whole lot of people. And as you know, I've got the 1,000 Family Initiative as my primary, my number one goal for 2022. And that is to impact 1,000 families with providing them either a home that they rent or a property that they have purchased from our business. So big goal.
We're going to talk about more about that because I'm with you on that. We're going to talk more about that next year. So you guys stay tuned for those because we're going to be talking about not only buying properties and getting them ready for that, but I want to talk about converting spaces for that house. We're going to talk about containers. We're going to talk about modular homes. And we're going to talk about printed homes also. So 3D printed homes. So lots of different things we're going to be talking about in this upcoming year. Lots of reasons to stay tuned. We've had an amazing year. We couldn't have done it without you guys. And Bill, I couldn't have done it without you. It's been a great time. I treasure this show. I cherish our friendship. I love our conversations, whether they're political or real estate based or family based. We have a great time. I am counting the days until Bill moves to Florida. So we will be back And until then, we wish each and every one of you a safe and happy new year and happy investing. And Bill, it's all you. You take us out.
All right. Well, again, I appreciate you. Both of us appreciate all of you that are with us. When you go to investorguyspodcast.com and you get the archive where you're joining us live Tuesday, Thursdays at 3:00 Eastern, whenever you are joining us, and we hope you'll spread the word around. We love doing this, and we appreciate you and want to be a positive impact and always give you value for the time that you spend with us. And from the bottom of our heart, we thank you for being a part of our audience.
Thank you for joining us.
See you next year.
See you next year.